the Roman history, very interesting history right now. You are servants all over the world. Tune in for these particular interesting topics on the Roman history. This is a series of topics going on by Mr. Willis Wandere, presenting the Roman history. Right now, your servants at home all over the world, tune in. Let's discuss about the Roman history. And today we are talking about the Roman houses, the villas, the country house or rural houses owned by the rich Romans. That is our topic today. Very interesting topic. We are looking at the social lives of the Romans. We are now dwelling on the social lives of the Roman, and we are going to discuss about the Roman villas, the rural houses, the country houses owned by the patricians. We remember we said the Romans society was a class society. Therefore, we had the rich people known as the patricians, and we had the poor people known as the plebeians. And we'll start looking at the houses owned by the patricians in the countryside or the rural areas. Those are the ones we are calling villas. Those are the ones we are calling villas. And particularly these houses were built near hills in the country house. These rich people were running away from the hustle and the bustle of the city life. Therefore, they were looking for coolness in the rural atmosphere. Most of the villas were situated near the hills so that the cool air would come in. And some of them were built near the sea so that the sea breeze will come to cool their lives. So the Roman villas, country house owned by the rich patricians. That is our discussion today. That is our topic today. We are analyzing the Roman villas. We are analyzing the Roman villas built in the countryside, particularly near the hills and also near the seas in places like Naples. You find most of these houses are rural houses built by the rich people during the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. Remember discussing about the two epochs of the Republic and the Empire. Therefore, the villas dominated the two epochs of the Republic and Empire. Definitely, there were some reasons why the rich people would want to build the villas in the countryside. And one of the reasons, which I have given already, is that they were running away from the busy life of towns, the hustle and the bustle of the town life. Therefore, they wanted to go to relax in the rural areas, to go and relax in the rural areas. And therefore, this was a very good house where they would perhaps go and relax, particularly in the weekends after the hustle in the city, after their activities in the city. So one of the reasons was to run away from the hustle and the bustle of the city. And most of these villas were pleasure houses. Most of them, like the Hadrian Villa, a pleasure house where most of these rich people now will come and try and see the comfort the villages or the rural areas will give them. Therefore, the pleasure in the countryside, the pleasure going to be enjoyed by these rich people in the countryside was another reason. And the third reason, these were farmhouses. These were farmhouses where these rich people practiced agriculture and they could store the grains and other agricultural commodities in the rural areas. The Roman villas playing a very important role in the social life of the Romans, in the social lives of the Roman. We are looking at houses now, social aspects of the Roman history right now. Here, servants tune in right now for this lively discussion on the Roman villas, the houses owned by these rich individuals during the epoch of the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. And we have just looked at some of the reasons why these rich patricians built houses in the rural areas or the countryside. Now, what were the features of these Roman villas? That is the next step we are taking in this lesson. We are going to see the structure, the architecture of these rural houses during the Roman epoch. And one of them, we are going to analyze even the floors. Most of these floors had expensive tiles put down on the floors. Then they had mosaics, very expensive tiny stones that was stuck to the floor by a mortar, some sort of dam put on these small stones, thousands of them, making very good patterns. Therefore, the floor highly decorated with these tiles at this particular time. Therefore, we have that kind of thing happening during this particular time. And then the walls, most of the walls of the houses owned by the rich patrician had stones, made of stone houses, and the walls were painted with pretty pictures. We have also the walls covered with marbles. Housing, and especially the villas in the countryside. These rich people also had their own houses in the city, given the name of the domus in the cities. So the rich people enjoying luxury and privileges during this particular time, owning houses back at the city and owning houses in the rural areas during this particular time. And we are looking at the features of the villas during the epoch of the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. And therefore, these walls had glass in the windows, very expensive houses, palatial homes owned by the rich patrician in the rural sides, particularly near the sea areas and the hills, where they could enjoy the breeze, the luxury of the countryside, relaxing in the countryside at that particular time. This is the history for the Roman era. Now we are on the social aspects of the Romans. We finished looking at the political aspects and the economic aspects. Now we are dwelling on the social aspects, and we are looking at housing in the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire at this particular time. Let's proceed on with the features of the villas, the luxurious homes, the palatial homes owned by the Romans during the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. The roofs of these houses were also made of expensive tiles at this particular time. So it's important to remember the architecture, very, 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 very modern architecture used to build the Roman villas during the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. These houses, very big, had even servants' quarters, and we know the Romans owned slaves, where these slaves could work and till the land, and also the servants would live in the servants' quarters. It's a modern house which had a place where the other people would reside in it at that particular time. Then we had the courtyards where people could go and relax at that particular time. Very sophisticated kind of house. The Roman villa, very sophisticated kind of house. The Roman villa, looking at the social aspects of the Roman epoch, both the Republic and the Empire, and analyzing the housing system during that particular time. And we're talking about the Roman villa in this particular lesson. Then they had these houses, the villas, had the private bathhouses. We remember the poor people used to go to the public bathhouses, but the rich people had the luxury of owning a private bath house. And very important to remember during this particular time. And we had the central heating place known as the hypocaust, where perhaps these rich people enjoyed very hot showers in their houses, unlike the poor plebeians who could go to the public bathhouses and have the cold showers during this particular time in the Roman Republic and the Roman empires. So we are still looking at the villas during the Roman Empire at this particular time. So we had those private bathhouses, and we also had the storage rooms. We remember this was a farmyard house, and therefore the grains harvested on the farms owned by these rich patricians would be stored in some parts of the houses where we had the stores or the storage houses for the grains. It is stored in the Roman villa, palatial home, luxury homes, which perhaps even modern people have adopted from the Roman lifestyle. We have such palatial homes still owned by the rich, especially in the beaches in most of the countries where the rich would move and perhaps relax during the holidays to go and unwind themselves after the struggle, hustle, and the hustle in the town. Most rich people always do that. So the Roman villas that we had, houses where a place where they had the exercise rooms where these rich people who go and exercise during this particular time. Very interesting topic, the Roman villas. Very interesting topic, the Roman villas, houses owned by the rich patricians, houses owned by the rich patrician, palatial, modern, sophisticated, expensive houses owned by these rich people during the Roman epoch. And then we had the domus, which was owned by these rich people, but in the cities, which owned by these people. And most of them were still large. Most of them were still large houses owned by these rich people, still luxurious houses, well-maintained houses. So you're talking about a very comfortable life of the Roman people, very especially the rich people. A Roman society being a class society where the rich enjoy the privileges that accompanied their status in society at that particular time, and had many rooms. So the rich people owning two types of houses in the city, the urban centers, the domus, and then in the countryside, the Roman villas, housing in the Roman Republic and Roman Empire, housing in the Roman Republic and Roman Empire, the social aspects of the Roman history. That's what we are dwelling on as we finish these topics on the Roman series. Right now we have 13 videos, so those who have not watched can watch the earlier videos. What about housing for the poor? Just before we summarize this lesson, we have only discussed about the housing for the rich people, the villas in the countryside, in the villages, in the rural house, and the domus in the city, in the urban centers. And therefore the houses of poor, and there were majority in the rural areas, was very, very poor. A big contrast. You'll be talking about a big contrast at this particular time. Therefore, these houses were small, and most of them were mud houses. The poor people, the plebeians having small mud houses, and especially there were a lot of congestion built next to each other, therefore cramped together. Congestion was the norm. Congestion was the norm at this particular time among the poor rural villagers, right in the village, the plebeians, if you like. We call them that during the Roman era. And these houses were poorly built. The roofs thatched, like the rich villas where the tiles were put on the roofs. They had the thatched houses which were there at that particular time, and these houses were poorly maintained. These houses were poorly maintained, and the floor not with expensive tiles, as we were talking about that, The floor was hand-beaten earth. They used to make the mud floor for the poor people. A big contrast between the housing for the rich and the housing for the poor. The contrast between the house for the patricians and the house of the plebeians in the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. And these rich people continue to enjoy quite a lot of privileges. Even the food they ate was unlike the poor diet enjoyed by the poor people. They had 3 meals starting with breakfast in the morning. You'll be talking about a snack like bread and honey, and then mid-morning they also had a snack in the afternoon and evening. So a class society, the Roman class society at that particular time, the poor people having less privileges. Therefore, the Roman villas played very significant role during that particular time. Yes, servants, I encourage you to tune in this live series on the Roman history, right from the topic 1, living through history. We are able to cover topic after topic, and we are now on our 14th topic in this series we've covered, and we now dwelling on the social life of the Roman people in the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. So as we finish this lesson, we've looked at the housing system. The next lesson, as we prepare year 7s, tune in, we'll be looking at the Roman family life, how the Roman family is organized at that particular time, the social aspect now. Whilst we are dealing on, we'll be looking at who was the head of the house, the roles of the people in the household during the Roman epochs, both the Republic and the Empire, both the Republic and the Empire. For today on the Roman houses, we wind up, and I urge year 7s all over the world, subscribe to this channel, tune in during the live series, so that we are able to go step by step as we analyze living through history. Book 1, the British curriculum, that's what we're handling. And the book is Living Through History, book 1, as we analyze this topic one by one, as we are at home right now. History, very interesting. So tune in, live streaming that will be taking place every time as we discuss together. This is Mr. Willis Wandere, teaching British International Curriculum at Shirikachi Deva Patel Samaj School, based in Nairobi. Thank you so much. Subscribe, tune in all over the world as we discuss these important topics on the Roman history. Very important history. The Romans, gone but not yet forgotten, left us with a lot of legacy. And as historian says, when Rome sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. Thank you so much. Tune in next lesson as we look on the Roman family life. As we look on the Roman family.